I just interviewed with Keith Andrew and had a great time. He asked me wonderful personal questions, and I absolutely support what he's doing in getting the word out there and trying to make a name for himself. He's doing a great job, so you should absolutely follow him on social media. And yeah, had a great time. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 664. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Melissa Pipher. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. Great to be here.
No, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. It's to prove to them you can still amount to something. So it's going to be a half hour, 32 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about anything you want. Remember PG-13. But you have the format, say anything you like. And I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then we can go to the hard-hitting ones. The first question is, what can you tell us about yourself?
Let's see. Well, I am currently living in New York City, which is very interesting right now. I am from a small town in Pennsylvania, Bracknell, Pennsylvania. Very, very small, just outside of Binghamton, New York, where most people get the general idea. I am a musical theater actress, which is also interesting right now. I went to college in Cortland, New York, at SUNY Cortland. Got my BA in musical theater there. And right now, yeah, just hanging out in my apartment, trying to get through like everyone else.
No, absolutely. Where are you based in the city, if you don't mind me for asking?
Yeah, I'm in Astoria right now.
Oh, nice. That's a beautiful area, and it's actually booming.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful outside right now, actually. Got my windows open.
No, absolutely. For me, from Queens, I'm about 2 hours away. You ever been to Woodbury Commons?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, that's going east from the city. It's near like West Point, the Catskills.
Okay. I'm familiar with the area, but I have not been.
Well, if you're up for it, maybe we can hang out one day when we're both not on a lockdown.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll be soon.
No, absolutely. Hey, and anything can happen, and hopefully once we trying to find the words without biting my tongue off. And people want to reopen, and while we're on the subject of this, people want to reopen, but things will not be 100% safe, at least until we have a vaccine. Once you have a vaccine, you can go out and do whatever you want, but until there's a vaccine, you have to play it safe. And even if there is a vaccine, you gradually need, for things to go back to how they were, like in the economy. But
yeah,
right
I
now,
would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree. I for one, if I keep saying I work in a restaurant currently. Well, not currently, but I work in a restaurant, and if they were to ask me to come back right now, I would not say yes. I would have to say no, just because it's not safe yet to be outside.
no, I agree with you. I used to work over at Walmart, and people were dropping left and right, from the virus. I'm like, you know what? My dad and my brother and a couple other people have heart conditions. I'm not going to be responsible
Mhm.
for, God forbid, anything should happen. So I'm going to leave right now, and I will come back once the shit stops hitting the fan. And yes, you can say yes words.
Yeah.
When the shit stops hitting the fan.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what did you major in when you went to college? And were you a study nerd or party animal?
I went to college at Cortland, in Cortland, New York, which is near Ithaca, is an area people generally know. It was a smaller college, which was the reason I chose to go there. And I was not really a party person. Still am not really a party person. Not my, not my kind of thing.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. It's for those who like it, good for them.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying it's to go out and drink and smoke or whatever, but I'm just saying it's good to express yourself once in a while.
Definitely.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the next question I was going to ask you is, what were some of your favorite sports that you ever did in high school and college?
Oh yeah, I actually I played soccer. I started very young. I played soccer starting in kindergarten, and I played all the way up till my junior year of high school. My senior year, I had to decide between theater and soccer, and I went with the theater, which was the right choice. So, I dance. I consider dancing a sport. So dance, and I also rode horses when I was
Oh,
younger.
nice. Smart and beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Oh,
Being single sucks. Don't, you can throw it back at me too. I have
oh,
nothing to hide.
no, you're fine. It's fine.
But the next thing I want to ask you is, a lot of people make fun of me for this, but a lot of people do it for like group activities. Did you ever get the chance to do one of those, human pyramid things, or not into the whole thing?
No, uh, no.
Yeah, I'm a loser. I like that stuff.
I'm sorry. No, I am.
And don't knock it till you try it. But for me, it's like I always liked circus acts when I was growing up. So that
Mhm.
was something that I was sketched on me since I was at the age of 4. So I was like, I really like that subject. How can I turn it into something? Because you watch all these different talk shows and everything, they never once ask that type of question. So I'm trying to branch out and be, how can I be different? Not
Yeah.
creepy, but different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great though. That's great.
No, absolutely. And I do apologize for imposing. And
Yeah.
when I don't do my interviews as of late, my disability shows more. So I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of reason I do the show. It's pretty much therapy for myself. And I like turning myself into an example or say, if I can do it, you can do it too.
That's a great message to get out there.
No, absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you some hard hitting ones. And like I
Okay.
said, I'm going to throw it towards you. You can throw it right back. No gloves, no cards up my sleeves. So the first question I want to ask you, and what the show is based around, is disabilities. With everything that you accomplish, and I know you have a bright future ahead of you, with everything you accomplish in the acting world, have you ever worked with anyone with learning disabilities or any type of disabilities?
Yes, I have actually. In a few productions. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody as a different person, so it's not even something that you give a thought to. You just say hi and start working.
No, absolutely. What were some of your favorite roles that you ever did, and what do you want to do?
Yeah, it's a great one. Let's see. My first lead role was Mabel in The Pirates of Penzance, which is Gilbert and Sullivan show, which is still till today one of my favorites. And then my senior year of college, we did a production of Candide, and I was Cunegonde, which was a wonderful experience. I am a classically trained soprano, so I tend to lean towards more of the classical musical theater genres. And roles that I love to do still, I mean, I'd love to be Cunegonde again. That would be great. And, oh geez, that's a tough question. There's so many out there. I would say maybe Spelling Bee. I love Spelling Bee. The lead in Spelling Bee, Rona, she's great. Yeah. Wicked. I'd love to be Glinda. I know it's cheesy, but I'd love to be Glinda.
The next question I was going to ask you is what were trying to find it different ways to break it down, because this is a really good question, but it's why do people do it so many different ways? Okay, without blustering it, let's look at this point of view without me having a brain fart. When you first started your acting career, what was the very first thing that you did? And that's part one. And part two of it is, was there a movie? Was there someone who influenced you to become a professional actress?
Yeah. Actually, my first, I guess, one of my first brushes with musical theater was the movie Chicago.
Okay.
And then my community theater happened to be putting on a production of Chicago, and I went and I auditioned, and I got an ensemble part, and from then on, I was hooked, just kept going back.
Well, when you were on stage and the spotlight hit you, were you like, did you have second thoughts like, what am I doing here? Or was it like someone who flipped a switch and said, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, it was never. I never really had like a doubt of that. Like this is what I want to do. Definitely like nerves about remembering your lines and things like that. But no, it was definitely, this is what I want to do for my life, if possible.
No, absolutely. And you did mention that you were in performing, so obviously you took performing classes. Would you recommend taking classes?
Yeah, classes are absolutely necessary. I even right now, I'm trying to take as many online classes as I can. Dance classes and voice lessons if you can. A lot of teachers are doing that, which is great. Anything you can do to try to give you that little bit of an advantage.
No, absolutely. Occasionally for fun, I do a lot of voiceover parodies like Jumbo and Jumblebug. Yeah, that's not my main focus, but I like to show my audience I can do upper things. But if you're ever interested in doing some for fun, just let me know.
Yeah, sounds
But the one
great.
thing you did mention earlier that I started to think about is you are you are a professional. Why am I having a brain fart? Sopranoist. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sometimes I heard without. It's always good for me not to think before speaking because I kind of hurt myself. But you mentioned you are a professional singer and a sopranoist,
Yeah.
and you cater more to like classical music. But
Mhm.
have you ever thought about testing the water, like doing a video of yourself doing like a country song, a rock and roll song? Because you shouldn't, as I said to my friend earlier, you shouldn't focus on, so I do apologize if it was my disability. You shouldn't focus on just one thing. You shouldn't be like, oh, I just want to be a professional wrestler, and the crap hits the fan, and be like, oh, well, I don't know what to do with my life now. You should have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. And like you, for an example, you're a dancer, professional dancer, a singer, an actress. So, God willing, if one of those things doesn't work out, and I hope to do to work out for you, but you have something to fall back on. Like for me, I used to work in retail, and when I didn't work in retail, I worked on my talk show. It's always good to have two things going for you because you don't want to set yourself up for failure. And I should know because I'm an expert of that, unfortunately. But the question I really want to ask you is, if you could focus on one genre of music, and I know you mentioned classical, but would you be up for even testing the water of country, rock and roll? Then again, there is country, rock and roll. Would you be interested in doing any of that?
Well, actually, now in musical theater, a lot of auditions require you to have different genres of music. In most auditions, you're required to have a pop rock or something, kind of edgy. And there are also definitely country style musicals. So you do have to be flexible in what you like to perform in. But I do still favor the classic stuff.
No, I like the classics too. We have Frank Sinatra. Um, there's a couple other ones, but I like how he did the song I Did It My Way. New York, New York, that's a good one. Was Frank Sinatra one of your influences?
Not for me personally, but he is a great performer. Yeah, definitely.
No, absolutely. And I have to, when I find a video, I'll definitely send it to you. It's they're doing the roads of Frank Sinatra. It's really funny.
Okay.
And if anyone else out there, it's a big Frank. Anyone else out there who's a big Frank Sinatra fan, make sure to look up the roads of Frank Sinatra. But the other question I want to ask you, then we got to take a quick commercial break, is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish as of this point in time? Is it your Instagram following? Is your Facebook followers? Do those dictate if people should hire you? Or does it give you that extra edge, say, hey, I have a couple million people following me. You should give me a chance. What is your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, in today, social media is important. I don't think it's necessarily, the follower count that you have, although I'm sure it doesn't hurt. But it's more the material that you put out there, because casting agencies and directors will have access to those things, and it might just give you that extra edge over somebody else if they see something they like.
Well, let me ask you this, and then we got to take a quick. Actually, I got two questions, then we can take a break. Say you went for an acting role, and they asked you if you had social media, and they say like, oh, well, for this certain role, you have to turn off all your social media. Would you do that for the acting part?
Well, that is generally part of a contract. It's not turning off your social media. It's that you're not allowed to discuss your contract while you are, during your contract. You're not allowed to talk about what you're doing until, opening day or whatever it may be.
Oh, absolutely. It's like signing on, say, like Smallville, and you're not going to just blur out everyone's character. Of course, what I mean, like, I give you an example of what I'm talking about. There was a job that I was doing an application for, and horrible job. I never went for it. They asked me one of the questions, like, oh, do you have social media? and mind you, this is a retail job, so the hell was that? But they said, do you have a retail job? Apparently. And it's like, do you have social media? I went, no. And so I lied. And I was like, you know what? I'm not giving up something that I've been doing for 6.5 years to work for minimum wage. It's not like saying, oh, yes, I want $15 an hour and it'd be a dead end job, and that's going to be my life. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, of course, I did lie, but for me, it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm a motivational speaker for people with disabilities. But if someone gave you an option of, say, for an example, if you want to work for Gucci, if you want to work for Saks Fifth, they say, absolutely, you have to turn off your social media if we're going to hire you. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not for me. Because I don't want to be in the corporate world. I want to be in the entertainment world. I like interacting with people. I like getting myself out there. I know you feel the same way because you're a professional actress. You have this bubbly personality. You love to be warm and friendly. So putting handcuffs on someone, say, you can do this, but okay, I understand you have to follow some rules. That's fine. But I'm saying overall, if you're supposed to be, it's either my way or there's the door. And how would you feel?
I would hope I would never be put in a situation like that. But yeah, I would not be comfortable with something like that.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you to remain in time.
Thomas?
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and this is Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 664. I'm here with Melissa Pipher. Thank you for sticking with us. Now, when we're back with the show, both our Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen. Don't worry, people get to follow you. People follow me. And don't mind me with my disability shows, but hey, that's the hint of the show. Show people with disabilities you can still amount to something. My problem is I'm always hard on myself, so you are your own worst enemy.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
But the thing I want to ask you about is trying to find out the exact words for it. Everything you accomplish, what is the next for you? You said you are, you're obviously beautiful, so you can be the next Anna Jolie. You can actually, what did you want to focus on? Is your acting the main focus? Did you want to be a professional singer? Do you want to do both? Passing the show over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. My goals right now are to audition and get roles. That's any musical theater performer's real goals, is to just get to as many auditions as you can and get seen by as many people as you can, in hopes that one day you'll get that role that leads to another role that leads to the next thing.
But one thing I do want to point out, it's, acting is not a guarantee, and you probably know this better than anyone else. Acting is not a guaranteed job. I give you an example. Robert Downey Jr., he was in Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, wasn't that great, but at least he was in 3 movies. Avengers, and Endgame, and Judge. You can have like 6 or 7, or if you're lucky, 10 movies. And then you can be out of work for God knows how long. So being an actor or being an actress isn't guaranteed work. I'm not saying be a talk show host. I guess being a talk show host is like a normal job, a 9-to-5 job. But being an actor, it's kind of like, it's all about, can I hit this role? Am I good enough? It's about self-confidence. It's about pleasing people. Was everything that you accomplished being a professional actress, and do you think that it's more stressful because you say this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, and so you have to put 110% into this acting role, and if you don't get the acting role, you're pretty much, what am I supposed to do now? And that's okay. Yeah, you were not saying anything's bad about having a normal job on the side. I said to my family, I said to my parents, even if I become rich and famous, I'm still going to work in retail. And they're like, why? You have all this money. Because I'm not going to change who I am for anyone. I'm going to have one foot in the entertainment world and one foot in reality. So if something stupid happens in reality, I can turn that into a story. If something stupid happens in entertainment, you have a story. But the main thing about I'm trying to get to you is you have to be exactly. It's like hitting a hammer on a nail. You have to nail this part. You have to do what's right. Because if you're not, you're going to be out of work. And as I interviewed, thanks to you, over 664 people, half of them are actors. They don't work a 9-to-5 job. It's like saying you're good for this role, but you suck for this one. But you have a great singing voice, and this is a great album, but you're not catered to this. So what I'm trying, do you understand what I'm trying? It's not that black and white. It's saying, okay, you're an actor today, and then you have a week off. It's not like you have special privileges where you have there's no sick time. You constantly need to go 365 days of constantly working your ass off to put food on the table.
It definitely, it requires a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort and just confidence in yourself to keep going and saying, I think I'm good enough to do this, and someday somebody else will agree with me.
No, absolutely. I didn't mean to go on that big tangent, but that's the truth of the matter is, being in a retail job, it's stable. I mean, okay, not all jobs are stable because they can fire you anytime, but you have that set routine of saying it's 9 to 5 and you're going to do it every single day. Being an actor, you don't have that luxury. It's you come in, you read your lines, and they get back to you. Their famous words, we will get back to you when we get back to you. But it's not guaranteed work. Is that one of your biggest fears? That you're saying you put in so much time and effort into something, and
it is definitely something you think about a lot. After an audition, if I don't hear back within a month to 2-3 months, I'm just like, okay, well, that didn't happen, so it's okay. I went to 5 other auditions. Maybe I'll hear from one of them soon. So it takes a lot of work.
No, understandable. Now, passing the show over to you, was there anything you wanted to know? Anything you wanted to promote? This is your time. You can tell me to shut the hell up. You talk too much. But whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, this is your time.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I guess I was just wondering, maybe, where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to college, school, anything like that?
Well, because I do have a slight disability, I went to, I won't say the name of the school, but it's near Woodbury. It's upstate, let's say like that. I don't want anyone to be misconstrued to be like, oh, he's saying this about this. So I went to a normal high school. I took special ed classes, and what about it is, say you have a GED and you went to college and you can go to a 4-year school. I never really had that luxury. For me, is because I took special ed classes, I do have a GED, but it's more of a local diploma, meaning if you want to learn a trade, if you want to go work on cars, engineering, and not saying there's anything wrong with that, but working on cars, engineering, nursing, being a custodian, that's great. But you can't really, looking at what my brothers and my sister went through, they went to college, but they have student loans. In a way, I'm kind of happy I didn't go to college because I don't have to pay off all those student loans. But at the same time, my hands are kind of tied as saying, maybe if I did have a bachelor's degree, maybe if I had a BA. I give you an example of what I'm talking about. My brother before me has a BA in broadcasting, and he can't get a radio job. He can't get any type of job. And now you look at me, someone who, well, obviously I'm not a real prize myself. I read and learn at a 5th grade level. I'm on the spectrum of being retarded. But look at what I was able to accomplish for 6.5 years. I'm showing you, hey, I interviewed 664 people, actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, and I didn't spend thousands of dollars on college transitions. I don't have a master's degree or a BA or, door stoppers, you want to call it that. But I'm showing you, hey, someone labeled you as this, but that's not going to dictate how you're going to live your life. And that was the whole purpose of it. So I was turn myself into an example, say, hey, I didn't go to college, and I was labeled, pretty much handcuffed, saying, this is what people have for you. This is what the imaginary bubble of people are going to stick you in. So it's your job is to break that bubble. So like I said, never went to college. I have no BA, no bachelor's. But I made so many connections. I mean, it never went anywhere. But I know so many people that said, if you were actually in the city, for an example, my friend who works at the Manhattan neighborhood of broadcasting, and it's like, if you were in Manhattan, you would have your own studio. Use of your own studio. If you were in the Bronx, you will have your own studio for BronxNet. People are saying, I would love to work with you, but you're in LA, and I'm scared crapless of being on airplanes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
So you see, there's some people say we can give you this, but yet you're too far away. People say I'm crazy because I give you an example, and I promise I will shut up. My dad thinks I waste too much money, and I kind of do, and because my brother, he goes on public transportation, no problem. For me, and because I have social anxiety, I like to make things as simple as possible. Even if I have to pay a lot of money, I'm going to do point A to point B. And you probably wonder, what the hell does he mean by that? For an example, I made a deal with my taxi company, right? A friend was the owner. I said, if I give you $250, can you drive me there and back? So take this. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's $300 overall. It's $250 plus tip or whatever. It's for me. I never went to the city on my own. So taking a bus, going to part of Florida, going in the subway, all that's overwhelming for me. So whenever I went to the city, for New York Comic Con, I took a taxi. When I went to big event, well, they were in Queens, so maybe we can hang out next time. If I never asked you, are you a wrestling fan?
I am not, but my boyfriend is. He is a big fan. I don't. I just sit there and endure.
Well, for example, next time there's a big event, maybe you can hang out or something. I take a taxi. Money for me, it's not an option. People are like, it's $300 to go here, then it's $300 for there. I like to make things as simple as possible. And if I have to swallow my pride and swallow $300, so I know that I'm not asking it for my hand to be held. It's like one of those things where you want to feel safe. So instead of just throwing yourself out to the wolves, here's what I'm doing, and you have your plan. Yet, I can easily take a bus for $34 and be like, whatever happens, happens. But, for me, I do everything ass backwards. So I make things more interesting. More ways than one. But wrapping up, was there any funny stories you wanted to share? Any words of wisdom?
I unfortunately don't have any funny stories. But I guess not specifically actors, but to everyone, just keep trying. You're doing great, I know you think you're struggling, and you are, but you're doing great. And we'll all get there eventually.
No, absolutely. And as someone once said, there is a light at the end of a tunnel, and the good news is it's not an oncoming train. Now, wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the first one I want to ask is, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
I am on all of those. And none of my names are very interesting or fun. They're all just my first and last name, Melissa Pipher. Pibher is how you spell that last name. And yeah, I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of the above. And all of those also have links to my business website, which have performance footage, resumes, and all of that good stuff.
And my last question for you, wrapping up, and I want you to be completely brutally honest. When I first approached you, when I first sent you that first message, what was your first reaction? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how do you feel now? And what do you recommend it to for people out there?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a great experience. Your message was very professional and courteous. I, of course, checked out your profile and saw all of the interviews, and I Googled a couple of the people, and I was like, oh, these are legitimate people. So, it felt like a decent opportunity. You never know until you do something. So, this has been great. I would absolutely recommend it to other people.
No, I appreciate it. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. Wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Thank you very much. I had a great time.